Hello, I'm Guy Sylvester with Middlesex Gases and Technologies. Today we're located at one of our 3 fill plants in Plainville, Massachusetts, just south of where the Patriots play. Today we're going to talk about how to use a dual-purpose liquid nitrogen dewar. This can be used at either 22 psi liquid or 220 psi gas. Let's take a closer look, shall we?
First, please always remember to wear the appropriate protective clothing when operating a liquid nitrogen 230-liter tank. This would consist of a protective face shield, safety glasses, cryo gloves, boots, long-sleeve shirt and pants. Also, please remember to review the MSDS sheet for liquid nitrogen so you have a good understanding for the safety precautions and emergency response guidelines that are associated with this product. When you receive the dual-purpose LN 230-liter tank, you will notice that there are 2 resettable pressure relieving devices on the tank. There is a 22 psi safety and a 230 psi safety. There is also a burst disc in case these safeties fail to open. These safety devices will always be found directly behind the pressure gauge on the tank. When the tank is delivered, it is normally set so that the 22 psi safety is in the open position. This would be indicated by the valve handle being parallel to the safety. The last thing you want to do is connect your tank to a cryo freezer with the 22 psi safety off and have as much as 230 psi feeding a cryo freezer. Please verify this with the pressure gauge on the tank. If someone, for example, is using this tank for liquid service, it is ready to be used when delivered at 22 psi. If you plan to use the tank for gas service, you will need to shut off the 22 psi safety, which will then activate the 230 psi safety. The tank will now have a working pressure of around 160 psi, based on how the pressure builder is set on the tank. A dual-purpose LN 230-liter tank also has 4 valves on top. Each valve has a tag underneath that indicates what it is used for. The liquid valve is designed for dispensing liquid nitrogen normally through a cryo hose at around 22 psi, or to feed a cryo freezer, for example, or manually filling a 30-liter dewar. The gas valve on the tank is designed for dispensing liquid nitrogen gas in the 160 psi working range. An example of this would be an application for feeding nitrogen gas to a mass spectrometer or manifold. The vent valve on the tank is designed to vent the tank when filling. This would normally only be done at our facility or by our qualified technicians. The last valve on the tank is a pressure building valve. This may look slightly different depending on which tank you receive. This valve, when turned on, is designed to build pressure in the tank more rapidly as compared to the normal evaporation rate of LN2 in the tank. By feeding liquid into a heat exchanger coil between the inner and outer wall of the tank, this causes the tank to build pressure and feed liquid or gas at a higher rate and pressure. Typical applications where you would see a pressure builder valve being used would be for supplying nitrogen gas for a mass spectrometer or manifold. It is important to note that after a pressure builder is turned on, you should not walk away from the tank for the day. It is good to check on the tank periodically to make sure it's not overpressurizing and the safeties are not aggressively blowing off. Every application is different. Some people who are feeding a mass spec, for example, may leave the PB on all day. Some other applications may require that the PB be turned on for a short while until the tank has built up pressure. An LN 230-liter tank can deliver up to 350 cubic feet per hour when the pressure builder is turned on. Lastly, It is normal for a liquid nitrogen dewar to make a loud hissing or popping noise from the safeties when it has built pressure to its maximum pressure setting. Please also note that it is normal for liquid nitrogen tanks to have some frosting on the valves and base of the tank when it is a flowing product. If you find any unexpected leaks, though, please set the cylinder aside, mark the defective item with tape or a note, and call customer service at Middlesex for more instructions. Do not, under any circumstance, attempt to block or remove any of these safety devices. They are there for your protection. If the LN2 hissing or popping noise becomes bothersome, there is a device you can purchase called a whisper valve. As the name suggests, this device will reduce the hissing noise to a minimum and reduce the amount of product lost from the safety's venting. If you use the liquid nitrogen tank in a lab or populated area where people are walking around, a whisper valve is a wonderful solution. It can be attached to the tank directly or mounted on the wall with a flex hose connected to the vent valve on the tank. Please contact customer service at Middlesex Gases and Technologies if you're interested in purchasing one of these devices. Finally, again, always remember to completely read and understand the MSDS sheet for liquid nitrogen before utilizing this product.
Thanks for viewing our instructional video today.